Coach Martin, Vince Ferrara, and Mike Griffith.
Coach
Good morning.
Martin,
how you doing?
That doesn't sound right.
Hey, Vince, Mike, how you guys doing, man?
We're good, T. First of all, congratulations on your opportunity out there at USC, and
I appreciate it.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll come back and talk about that. But your reaction to the honor of Phillip Fulmer going into the 2012 College Football Hall of Fame?
Man, I was pumped for Coach Fulmer, man. Just it couldn't, much deserving. You know, a lot of people don't realize how hard his job was at Tennessee, and to get the results that he got, and the winning seasons, national championship, multiple, not only SEC championship wins, but SEC championship appearances, and just the recruiting classes, the organization throughout the program for so many years. I was talking to a coach yesterday, and he talked about, why did you go to Tennessee? Why did you leave the state of Alabama and go to Tennessee? I said, because it was stable. During the time where we were making our decisions to go to Tennessee, you had guys that had been on the staff for years, from Chavis to Cutcliffe and Sanders and guys like that who were staples in the program. And that's one thing that us recruits at that time, we felt that was a plus. And you got to give credit to Coach Fulmer for being able to do that. And now that I'm in this business, have much more respect for the job he did at Tennessee, and couldn't have it to a better guy. I'm excited now that I can say I played for the Hall of Fame, Coach Phillip Fulmer.
How did Coach Fulmer manage the team? How was he able to keep all of those guys in line and everybody on the same page, even though there was so many stars around?
Because he was genuine. He was touchable. He was approachable. He would open his door. You can come in there and talk about anything, laying on the couch. When he sat in your living room and told you something, he meant it, and he did it. And that's the way it was. You knew coming in what the deal was, from what number you were going to wear to, position you were going to play, all of that stuff. And I think as people say, players coach. On the outside, you may have not had that opinion of Coach Fulmer, but on the inside, we all wanted to play for him. He was great to play for. He took care of us. We didn't feel like he was doing something crazy to get us to be motivated to go play. And again, much success throughout his tenure at Tennessee, and we had fun while doing it.
And I got to go back to the 98 season, and I remember through the first, 4, 5, 6 games, I think your completion percentage was still under 50%, and yet there was never any second guessing, never any thought of what was going on at quarterback. Coach Fulmer never said. How did he keep your confidence even when the numbers weren't reflecting the success you were having?
Well, shoot, we kept handing the ball off. When you talk about recruiting, the year that those guys came, we signed 5 running backs in 1 year. Now, who does that? We had Jamal, we had Travis. It was a good time. But for me, Coach Fulmer, he understood me and allowed me to stay within my own skin. He didn't ask me to do anything that I wasn't comfortable in doing. And when the experience came, all I needed was experience, and that brings confidence. And, once the experience got under my belt and I got more comfortable with things, then, they put a little bit more on my plate. And that's when I decided to grow. And my senior year, he trusted me with everything. And, I was able to really show more skills that way. But no, I got a lot of respect for him being able to see that. You got a first-year starting quarterback who had been there, but I hadn't played much, and to stick with me through those tough times, it's credit to him.
The Syracuse game, when you showed down with Donovan McNabb, what about that game?
We knew it was going to be a challenge, but Al Wilson, those guys took care of business on defense and kept us in the game, and we made the plays we needed to make them on offense. Jamal had some good runs, Fearless, some big-time catches. And, I didn't start off that game. I was so nervous, man. I remember going in for IVs because I was so nervous and sweating and lost weight and all that kind of stuff during that game. But, man, we hung in there and made the plays we needed to make them at the end of the game. But, again, first game as a starter and, 2-minute drill under Coach Fulmer, quarterbacks, you thought it. And you did all the protections and you did all of that. And not one time did he second-guess me during that game-winning drive and try to take – so-called the play calling from me. He let me do my thing, and we went down the field and got a field goal range, and my man Jeff Hogg kicked it in, man. We won.
Joined by T. Martin, USC assistant coach, former Vol quarterback, talking about some of the times at Tennessee under Phillip Fulmer, who is now part of the 2012 College Football Hall of Fame class. And T, we hear a lot of people talk about, as former players, talk about family atmosphere that was around when Phillip Fulmer was at Tennessee. Can you give us an example, take us behind the scenes on what an example of the family atmosphere was like under Phillip Fulmer for a player?
You know what, Vince, that's a great point right there. And now that I'm recruiting, I like to tell my players that I recruit, say, there's only one way to show a guy how to be a family man and how to be a good husband and a good father is, show him yourself and have your kids around and have your wife around and let him see you doing it. And that's one thing that Coach Fulmer did. I remember fondly, going to games and, Coach Fulmer's wife, Vicky, was on the bus with us. What coach does that? And his daughters were always around Courtney, and all the girls just were on the sideline. And, sometimes after games, and you go and shake the other head coach's hands, and, those conversations aren't always pleasant. But he had his daughters with him every step of the way, his wife there. And for me, as a coach in this business, now I saw that you can win and do things the right way with your family being involved, and that's exactly what I want to do in my coaching career. And I got that confidence to do so from Coach Fulmer.
Well, you talk about family, and there you were with one of your old family members, Randy Sanders at Kentucky. I mean, not a coincidence that, Randy was your offensive coordinator in the national championship game in '98, as well as the entire '99 season when you started pitching it around a lot.
Yeah.
Just how much of that Kentucky offense is the old Tennessee offense that we used to see here? How much of it is based in what UT used to do?
You know what, Mike? I can't tell you how much respect I have for Coach Randy Sanders. Coach Sanders is my age now, calling plays for the national championship game when I was in there playing, and he had a month to get ready for that game, coming from running backs coach to now quarterbacks coach and calling plays in the biggest game in Tennessee football history. And we couldn't play around with each other. We got into that room. We say, hey, what do you like, what do you don't like? We don't have time. Let's make it work. And from that time, it was like a brother connection. And, when I got in the business of coaching and, he's a mentor of mine. And a lot of people say, hey, you get in the business, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to help you out in this business. And Coach Sanders, I'm coaching at Morehouse College, and he would come in town while coaching at Kentucky and pick me up. We'd go around, recruit together, talk on the phone about business and games and all that. But no, the Kentucky offense is a combination of some of Joker Phillips' terminology, Joker Phillips' concepts and things that he had done over the years. And sure enough, Tennessee offense, a lot of the game, the play calls and adjustments and checks and things like that were things that we did at Tennessee. And Coach Sanders every year gets better, and he was already good. But the thing I do respect about Coach Sanders, he's humble enough and he's such a student still of the game that every week, every year, he adds to it, and that system has morphed into something that's really, really special. And, the one thing I respect about Coach is we have a system, and we had a system at Tennessee, but the ability to do what it takes to win a game or the ability to do what it takes to attack a certain weakness, I think he's one of the best out there at doing that, and I learned a lot from him.
Well, yeah, and I don't know if this is if this was a bittersweet moment for you, but one of the things he was able to do was beat Tennessee last year, and obviously you had there were some tough circumstances for Kentucky, and you were on the inside of that. I mean, did you guys go into that game thinking, boy, there's no way, without a quarterback? I mean, how did Kentucky how did Randy find a way? I look back at that and I'm still a little befuddled.
That's exactly what I mean. We were done with the game plan Sunday night, and it was quite simple. You're going to start a wide receiver at quarterback. How much do you think you could do, And I had some previous experience with Matt, coaching him in high school, so I kind of knew his capabilities at throwing the ball and things like that, and getting him on the perimeter, running the ball and things like that. But Randy trusted me, to say, hey, I think this kid can do this if you think he can do this. And let's just go to show you what kind of guy he is. But no, that was a excellent game for us at Kentucky. We really enjoyed that. It had been a long time, but obviously being a Tennessee alum and me and Coach Sanders after the game was one of those moments that you really don't have words, because you're happy, but you're kind of like stoic and just kind of, I don't know what you even call it. But we got into the locker room, just kind of looked at each other for a second, and went into the shower, put on our clothes, and took off. But, we were excited for our kids and our staff for being able to put that game plan together and win the game. On both sides, our defense played great as well. And just a good moment for the Kentucky fans and football team.
And T, obviously, it was a crazy night when I'd heard through the grapevine that Southern Cal was interested in you. How did that come about? And I guess the other question I would have is, Tennessee had so many vacancies. I was kind of surprised not to see you at Tennessee.
Yeah, well, throughout that process, I had worked for the Raiders when Coach Kiffin was the head coach for the Raiders, Mr. Davis. I did reports for quarterbacks and did a lot of scouting work and things like that. So I didn't work directly with Coach Kiffin, but he knew I was around. And when he took the Tennessee job, I might have texted him right after his press conference. And when I got the word that he took the Tennessee job, I texted him, called him, welcomed him to the Tennessee family, was a big supporter of him. And, I think that was another reason why I was so emotional, just like everyone else was when he left Tennessee, because I felt like he was going to do a good job, and, he started recruiting class, they signed and things like that. I felt like it would get, Tennessee back on track and going in the right direction. So we were all emotional when he left and all, but at the end of the day, a great opportunity at USC for me and my family and my coaching career, and being able to coach under Lane Kiffin, former receiver coach, who had great success as a receiver coach and play caller, one of the best play callers in college football. I could not pass up the opportunity at USC and to be on his staff. And so don't regret it at all. He's been great to me. We had an opportunity to clear the air on some things, and he's just been great. And I'm excited about our opportunities this upcoming season. Got a great group of kids on that football team. That's the one thing I give him credit for, is that was a little baggage, actually left over, and with the probation and things like that, and to see us through to get to where we are right now at 10-2 season last year and preseason rankings and all that good stuff, with a chance to be in the mix this year. I got to give him a lot of credit for the job he's done and his staff with getting USC back on track.
Talking to former Vol quarterback and USC assistant coach T. Martin. T, it's more than just some good stuff. You guys have the best. You guys at the top of the BCS championship Vegas odds right now. A preseason number one. How good can this USC team be this year?
Oh man, we can be as good as our leadership takes us. The one thing that we talk to our players about. A coach-driven team is a good team. We can coach you so far, but a player-driven team, takes you all the way. And I think that's the difference in the championship teams. Coach Fulmer and his staff were able to do that. But I think what pushed us over the edge were those times where Al Wilson got in somebody's butt. And those times where players, we governed ourselves in the off season, staying out of trouble, making sure guys did what they had to do, going to class. There were times where coaches had to do it, and there were times where we did it ourselves. And so I think we'll go as far as our leadership takes us. And that's big time with Matt Barkley coming back for his senior year, T.J. McDonald on the defensive side of the ball coming back, and Mikael Roby, guys like that who are great kids, great leaders on and off the field. And I'm excited about them. And something feels good about this team when we went through the spring, and hopefully we grow on that energy during the off season and on into the fall camp.
Well, T, I know now you're out on the road telling everybody you're from L.A. You really are from L.A. You used to be just low.
I am, man. I told somebody that. I said, I used to tell girls when I met them I was from L.A., and I meant Lower Alabama, and now I really am from L.A. now. So, yeah, that's a cool joke. Do you remember me telling you that, Mike?
Oh, I think you got me started on it when I told you I worked in Mobile. You said, "Oh, you're from L.A. like me." What's
that's that? Right, man.
The guy that comes from Birdville, now he's in Southern California recruiting for USC. Are there days you just pinch yourself and wonder how you got from Mobile, Alabama to Los Angeles recruiting from one of the premier programs in the country?
Well, Mike, that's all those nights you walk in Grandmama's room and she's on her knees praying, man. I'm getting the benefits of all of that. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what it is. I couldn't have told you 4 years ago that coaching high school ball that I'll be the USC receivers coach today, and my brain would have blown up. And so, that's Grandmama's blessings. That's a lot of hard work and man, just opportunities, And so. Give a lot of credit to the coaches that have helped me along the way, and look forward to continuing to work hard and see what happens.
T, congrats on the success. We'll let you get back in the recruiting show there. Thanks so much for sharing your thoughts on your time at Tennessee under Phillip Fulmer.
Vince, Mike, I appreciate you guys having me on.